Evening, everyone. Welcome to Wigan Fan TV. Warrington preview tonight. There will be four of us on the screen in just a moment. Matt is just logging in as we speak, so we'll throw Matt's face onto the screen as soon as he logs in. Joined tonight by David Bailey in the middle. David, are you well?
Yeah, good, thanks. Good, thanks, Sean. Hi, everyone.
And we've got Mark from Super League Pod. Mark, we were just discussing what's on Super League Pod this week. Do you want to give everyone a little bit of a taste as to why they should download?
Yeah, if anyone's interested in hearing a lot of views on the Leeds Rhinos situation with sacking of Brian McDermott at the start of the week, and that's mostly what we talk about on this week's show. And then there's a little bit around the Coventry Bears as well. We had the Coventry ground announcer, is one of our co-hosts on Super League Pod, and he was on this week and talked about their big showing against Bradford last week where they got 1,500 on nearly. So there's loads of good stuff on there. So please do give it a listen and a download and all of that. Much appreciated.
I mean, it's an interesting time, isn't it, for rugby league in terms of the sort of not heritage clubs, that's the wrong word to say, but the more traditional clubs struggling, and then you've got the likes of Coventry and York that are excelling fantastically. So it's a very interesting time at the moment.
Yeah, we can talk a little bit about the problems at Keighley and Barrow. That the fact that they've both come out with statements in the last week where there's been times where they've had a few quid, if that, in the bank account. So yeah, loads of that as well on Super League Pod. It is an interesting time, and there's loads of discussion about so much stuff in the game, isn't there? There's the Whippet and Flat Caps podcast I've just been listening to, where they've got Robert Alston on for a very in-depth, long chat. That's a good listen too as well. Once you've watched and listened to this, and then listen to the Super League Pod, then get on to Whippet and Flat Caps.
And Super League Pod featured in Rugby League World this month as well. We've got to mention that. You got a bit of a mention in there in one of the features. And this show will be featured in 4020 next week as well. I've just been on the phone to Steve Mascord, just done a little bit about that. But let's start talking about Wigan. Let's get straight into this, David. Anthony Gelling to Widnes this week. Your thoughts on Anthony Gelling, David, and would you have liked to have seen him back at Wigan rather than Widnes?
Of course, I'd like to have seen him back. He's a character. He's good for the game. He gets kids excited and interested. So he's definitely an ambassador for the game. It's a tough one, isn't it? When the sort of homesickness was cited when he was leaving. I don't know whether he mentioned that or whether Wigan mentioned that, but I think at the time it was more about his girlfriend being in hospital and a long distance relationship. Would I like to see him back at Wigan over Dan Sargentson at the moment? Probably yes. But that's not happening. But I think we should cut him a bit of slack. Everybody's circumstances can change in a blink of an eye. So, something's changed in the last 12 months, and Widnes presented him with an opportunity. So, yeah, sorry he's going to Widnes rather than Wigan, but I think he's getting a bit of a hard time over the homesickness bit.
Matt, welcome to the show. Lost the link, but your thoughts on Gelling to Widnes? I think it's a strange one, that the press release at the start of the year, because he pretty much left. I think it was on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, wasn't it? He was announced, and Michael McAlorum mentioned that Wigan do have the first option. Do you think it's strange that Wigan haven't exercised that option?
I think it means there's something more to it than we know about. Yeah. I think maybe, I don't know, he's a big fan's favourite, but sometimes fans' favourites aren't always the best thing for the club. Look at Julian O'Neill. He used to stick in the shoe and stuff like that. Apparently, he defecated in a shoe once.
Did he?
I heard that rumour. I might have started it.
It's two people like where they want that.
Yeah, was it your shoe?
It was, yeah. I'll never forgive him. I don't know. I just think, okay, he's gone to Widnes. We all love him. My son in particular loves him. He still harps on about Gelling. This is it. He's somewhere else. We move on. We're a bigger club.
Mark, sorry, a question for you is, with Gelling going to Widnes and Widnes being the kind of in trouble at the minute, if Widnes go down, do you expect to see him play at Widnes?
Do you know what? I've really no idea. Widnes's crowds are feeling like they're not even going to be sustaining any kind of Super League level budget anyway next year. So that's a problem they've got to sort out. I hope he does. He seems like an honourable bloke who would, as long as there's not going to be a breakout clause from the club in it. I'm sure he would. we also don't know about what the future is going to hold for the structure of the game and the way that's going to be run and the way funding is going to be distributed and all those things in the medium term. And his 2-year contract will come to the end of that period. So I think he will. I don't doubt. I love the fact that he's back in our game over here. He's a great character.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, and it'd be good to see him over. It's a shame that it's not in a Wigan shirt, but I think he had his best season in 2016, didn't he? We got the best out of him then, and he's erratic by nature, and perhaps we might not miss that side of him. Erratic.
What did you say? Erratic. Okay, right.
Erratic. Yeah, erratic. Obviously, we could. Yeah, thanks for that. Let's discuss very quickly your favourite person, Matt, Romain Navarrete. Yeah. How bad was the tackle? Do you think it warrants a one-game ban? I mean, you started the protest online. It basically, Sean Wayne decided he didn't want to appeal it because he'd missed the England game. Is that just because he's French, do you think?
Let's be honest about this. It was not a Crusher tackle, was it? That was a French cuddle. And on the basis that a French kiss... okay, is a kiss that, you wouldn't give your granny. Well, I wouldn't tackle my granny the way that Navarrete did, because she likes it rougher than that. And this is the thing, there was nothing in it. It was nothing. It was a nothing tackle. He shouldn't have even been sin-binned. #free Romain.
In defence of the sin binning, it's obviously the rule. We should have benefited from the rule working the other way around the weekend before that, shouldn't we? And Romain Navarrete was on the receiving end, and probably on the receiving end of a tackle where I don't think he got put in as awkward a position as what ended up with the Leeds lad on Thursday. But it was careless to sort of, and he left his head in and. He manipulated a situation where the neck wasn't, where the head wasn't allowed to find any free space. So you understand with the way the rules have gone and the way they're trying to cut this sort of stuff out, why it's gone.
Do you honestly think that was going through his head?
I mean,
watching it back, at the time, I was fuming with the yellow card, as I always am from the terraces, as Sean can confirm. But
the little boy that you swore at is still in treatment, by the way. He's still receiving therapy.
I didn't swear at the little boy. Let's get this right. I swore near the little boy, not at the little boy. I just think watching it back, he kind of left his head in the space where the Leeds player's head should have gone. So I understand with the way they play. I don't want to see injuries.
They're
basically,
not playing Twister.
I support the decisions.
With the Stuart says he was at the game against Leeds. Navarrete got rough justice. Sam Tompkins got tackled against him. Yeah, I think the yellow card was a yellow card, and it should have ended and started and ended there, shouldn't it? It shouldn't even have been referred as a one match ban. That's the top and bottom of it. I think
he's a lover, not a fighter.
And you would know.
Right, and I'll tell you what, he might crush you when he's being a lover, but only if you want that. Not as a fighter. He wouldn't do it as a fighter. He's a good bloke.
I'm sure he is.
#free Romain.
Yeah, it kind of took off, didn't it? We got about 3 retweets, so I guess that's going viral.
That's a movement.
I thought your graphic for it was fantastic. It deserved more than 3 retweets.
I was very proud of that. I had the baby in one arm and I was doing it with the other arm.
Multitasking, impressive stuff.
Yeah. David, Wigan obviously won 46-8 against Leeds. Were you impressed by Wigan's performance, or were Leeds just really, really that bad?
I think Leeds were just really, really that bad. I think that was one of the worst performances I've seen from a Leeds side at Wigan for some time. I'm good friends with Peter Smith, the editor of the Yorkshire Evening Post, the Rugby League. And I was speaking to him, and he was, after the game, and he was just of the same opinion. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I don't even think Wigan felt like they got out of second gear. I mean, we did spread the ball well. We were looking like we were attacking all the time, but I think Leeds were just that bad. There just didn't seem to be any direction or leadership on the pitch whatsoever from them.
No, it did seem like that.
14 points when we scored 14 points when we were winding the clock down and not trying to attack, didn't we? So that speaks to what you're saying about we didn't really push them as hard as we could have done, and we still absolutely trounced them.
we've got Rob watching, who's the Warrington fan. I deliberately didn't invite you, Rob, on this because I've still not got over the Challenge Cup game. And he made a very, very good point last time that he was on that we wouldn't win anything because we had a terrible hooker. We didn't have a hooker as well as Darryl Clark, and basically we would lose 60, 70 metres a game to him. So yeah, hello, Rob. I hope you're well. And yeah, that's why you weren't invited. Sorry, I couldn't face putting up with a gloating Warrington fan on this one.
Wow.
Yeah, I've got a 1 week old baby. I couldn't be doing with a Warrington fan as well. Sorry, Rob.
Grumpy daddy.
Use your energy wisely, Sean.
Yeah, exactly. Remain Navarrete posters. That's the way forward, isn't it? Moving on to the game against Warrington. Obviously, Wigan are making this thing. It's not quoting it as revenge, are they? They're sort of. I quite like the marketing campaign that they've got going about it. You know, people lose games, but only some change to them, something like that. So it's a strange one, but it obviously seems to mean a lot to them. Sean Wayne was talking about the Warrington game in the post-match press conference at the Leeds game, so it obviously means a lot. Sammy Kabula comes into the squad, and Ben Flower returns, Greenwood out, and obviously Navarrete out. Mark, do you expect... I mean, can you see Kabula making his debut in such a big game, or do you think it's reward for how well he's been doing? And basically he's in the squad with a view to him getting a game later on, I guess.
I think he needs to get used to the professional build-up to the big games, the Super League games, and I think it's all about that, getting out there on the pitch for that 20 minutes before the game and that sort of stuff, getting changed with the first team. I don't think he's going to be thrown into the main thing. Flower comes in for Navarrete. It's pretty straightforward. I know Tau was probably our only not good performer last week, if we're being really critical. So maybe there's a question mark around that, but maybe it's just to keep some of those guys on the toes, saying that Kabula's knocking on the door, but I don't see it myself, no. Although he's great, I like him.
Yeah, I mean, he's just one of those players who you think if he takes off, he's going to be an absolute superstar, isn't he? Every game that you watched him play in the 19s last year, he was incredible. He seems to have a really good link up with Josh Ganson as well, which hopefully we might see in the first team over the next few years. Joe Greenwood is injured, and there's rumours that he's out for the season, which has sort of been they've been put to bed a little bit today. I saw that on Twitter. Phil Wilkinson was asked the question, is Greenwood out for the season? He said that he spoke to Joe Greenwood today and he reckons it's 2 or 3 weeks. He's just rolled his ankle, which is a bit of a worry that was a rumour in the first place. Matt, how did you think he went on his debut? He didn't look match fit, did he? But can you see him being a good player for Wigan from what you saw?
I think you put your finger on it there. He didn't look match fit, but what he did do was effective. And there was that kind of feeling that if he'd been match fit, he would have been even more effective.
He's a big guy, isn't he? He's certainly a big lad. David,
he's going to be a good one.
He is. He's obviously a signing for next season, isn't he? He's Bateman's replacement, as we've said many times, but they brought over because of the Joel Tompkins issue. David, Mark will know this. Am I right in thinking Liam Paisley is in the squad? Yeah. David, would you see Liam Paisley get another opportunity this week after his impressive performance at Cast, particularly with Greenwood being out?
Yeah, I think, well, it's one of those. I mean, I thought there was going to be question marks over with Sargentson being available, but obviously he's not in the squads because I just think back row was sort of a little bit stacked, obviously with Greenwood being out now. I think Paisley's done enough to warrant a place, but whether he'll get it or not, I'm not sure. I don't know whether Way he'll go for experience, with it being Warrington. Because the game itself, you can toss a coin. Is it going to be a replica of the Magic Weekend, or is it going to be a replica of the Challenge Cup? 2 very different games with hugely different outcomes. So I think he'll probably go for experience, as much as he possibly can this week.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you touched on it there, Mark. David touched on it in terms of, we've played. This is the 4th game that we've played against them. The 3 previous games have been completely polar opposites every single time, haven't they? How do you see Friday going? Does the fact that we're going to back at home, and I guess the pressure is a little bit more on Wigan to put in a performance? Do you think? Do you think we all Warrington won?
I'd touch on the Warrington squad before we talk about that, because one big omission in their squad's Ben Murdoch-Masila, who's injured. And I was just having a quick look at his stats, because I thought his best games have felt like they've come against us. And 2 of his 300-metre games in Super League so far this season have been the 2 games against us in Super League so far this season. So even in losing effort at Magic Weekend, he was still pretty impressive, and we've struggled to handle him. So I think that's a positive for us from the squad side of things, even though they're bringing in Ratchford and Hill, the only England players who got rested after the Denver excursion. So I think that's an interesting one. In terms of your question, I really don't know what to expect. I hope it's a close one that goes with the home side, kind of like the first game. So it's we get the whole full circle on the whole thing.
I feel like it's a shame that this is the 4th game. It almost takes away from it a little bit, but I guess it adds a bit of intrigue because the 3 games have just been. Yeah, I suppose. Matt, sorry, you were going to say something.
You say about Ben Murdoch-Masila, and he's had 3 very good games against Wigan. I think, statistically speaking, sooner or later, we're going to get the better of him. Either we will or Pastry will. It's one way or the other.
Or Wigan Pastry. Maybe that's the key. Wigan Pastry might get the best of him. Who knows? David, how do you see Friday night going, David? If we win, I guess we don't cement second place, but we look comfortable in second place for that all-important home semi-final. Do you think that's as important as this game is, David?
Yeah, I think so. I think if you've touched on it there, obviously, can't see anybody catching Saints in the race for the League Leaders Shield. Even if we beat them next week, I still can't see them dropping too many points. They seem to have just got it right this season, Saints, I think, in terms of the general league play. So yeah, the subplot is, that interesting point of second and third place. Wigan really need to do this to sort of not cement the place in second place, but it certainly puts them in a good position ahead of the split of the competition in a few weeks' time. Warrington obviously will want to try and get back level pegging with us and put a bit of breathing space, from between them and 4th spot. It's all about the top 4 as it comes down to it now. So I hope we're going to fight up for it, and I hope we still, I think we can sneak it. I don't think it's going to be a free-flowing game. I don't think it's going to be one of those like we had with Magic Weekend and the Challenge Cup where one team gets away with it. But I can just see us sneaking it by a couple of scores this week. I think we need to just to sort of lay down a marker and really get that monkey off Sean Wayne's back. We seem to be back on track after the sort of wobble after his announcement. And I think it's a crucial game for us to keep on track.
I'm seeing the cogs going in Matt's head. You said monkey, back, Sean Wayne. The cogs are going and nothing's coming yet.
What are you trying to say?
I'm just expecting. I don't know. Have you got a monkey puppet? I don't know. I really don't know what to expect, Matt.
My private life is none of your business.
One person I want to talk about is Sam Powell. It's his 150th game for Wigan. Should he play on Friday, which I presume he will do. 150 games seems to have come along quite quickly. Probably an unsung hero back in 2016 when we won the grand final. Mark, 150 games is a pretty good achievement for somebody that has never really been able to nail down a position. And even when he has done this year, he's still got question marks from certain people about his position. It's quite an achievement, that, isn't it? 150 games.
I don't think he knows where he wants to play best as well. I think that's a big part of it as well. But that 2016 season, you could put him next to the best hookers in the league, and the best hookers in the league have been consistently great for 4, 5, or in Roby's case, 12 years. But he was in that conversation. I'd have probably had him third best hooker in the league, third or fourth best hooker in the league in 2016. So that year he was fantastic, playing in one position week in, week out. He offered some solidity and sureness to the middle in attack and defence. Not necessarily explosive or entertaining or exciting. And that's what we don't like about it. He doesn't make huge hits, even though he barely misses a tackle. He doesn't make exciting runs out of dummy half. He doesn't throw big Harbour Bridge passes, but he's pretty consistent in his performance. He's a kind of 7 out of 10 bloke. I see him as, but because we want 9 out of 10 blokes at Wigan, we don't we don't give him the credit necessarily he deserves sometimes. That's my take on him, and I understand why people.
I think that's spot on. Yeah, I think
there's no harm in liking him in a salary cap sport, in my opinion.
No, I think that's spot on. David, your thoughts on Sam Powell, and particularly with his 150th game coming up?
Yeah, it has come around quickly, and I think you know in 2016, obviously that was the season when McAloon got injured early on and was ruled out for the season, and I think every Wigan fan was scratching their heads at the time, going, "Well, McAloon doesn't play 80 minutes every week, so why are we expecting Sam Powell, who's not even a hooker, to play 80 minutes every week?" And he did, and like you said, he excelled that season. This season's been a bit hit and miss, and I just don't think he complements Williams enough. I don't think we've seen the best out of either of them this season, even though we're still performing reasonably well in terms of league position. So yeah, I think that might be another question mark. It might be that next season, if Leuluai does step down, he might be reverting back to hooker from a half-back. But yeah, he's a great kid. His attitude's spot on, and
yeah.
I think just echoing what Mark said, he's not one that you're going to get, big, massive, powerful hits or big, 60-yard mazy runs, but he does the little things and he does the simple things really effectively. And, he's a good addition to the squad. And I've not seen the best of him, but I think there's still more to come from him yet, even though he has hit 150 games.
That's
on the criticism.
That's a really important thing. The complementary thing, that they're not like Tango and Cash, they're more like Tango and Tango. And worryingly, in a salary cap sport, they're more like Cash and Cash. And that is the issue. We've got to be quite ruthless about this.
He doesn't pull people away from Williams, and that's where the lack of complement is there, because Williams is so talented, but he maybe doesn't think as fast as some other players about what's around him. We've talked about this before. He doesn't organise maybe as well. But because no one's going to Powell, no one sees him as a huge threat because of this lack of explosiveness. But we shouldn't underestimate, I think, when he goes into dummy half, what he offers the team. I think he's got a really sharp passing game out of there, and he doesn't miss a tackle. He doesn't miss a tackle. No. That's really important. Mickey McAloon might deck some people, but he misses a lot of tackles. Sam Powell barely lets go of someone, and he doesn't let a lot of offloads go when he gets in contact. They're the things I like to see the positives in our Wigan players, because I love them all. You see.
What I want to ask you, Matt, is the question that's just come through from Martin. I mean, at the start of the year, Matt, you successfully predicted his squad number, which we will never forget, of course, because you got something right. You've not got Navarrete first try scorer right, or his drop goal yet. But Martin asked the question, are we impressed with Woods at the moment? A good kicking game to knock Warrington off the stride for a young player. Old head on his shoulders. I'd like to see Williams and Woods. Obviously, we won't see Williams and Woods because of Williams' injury. What's your impression of Josh Woods so far? He seemed to come of age a little bit against Leeds, do you think, Matt?
Yeah, I like him. Like him a lot. He's and this is exactly what we want. Young players vying for the big positions.
I mean, again, short and sweet. Thanks, Matt.
What more do you want from me?
I can only see Matt's fringe on the way the screen's laid out for me. It's really...
I think that's not a bad thing. He is just the fringe, isn't he? And
or quiff, should I say, rather than fringe.
The quiff. Well, let's get some score predictions before we wrap up. Quite a quick one tonight, I guess, half an hour. We've got the whole game coming up live on TV very, very shortly. Mark, your thoughts on?
I'm just picking up a piece of paper from the Super League pod, because I want to be consistent. 28-18 to Wigan is what I'm going to go with. Liam Farrell first try.
Ooh. David?
Yeah, similar. Probably about 24-12. A couple of scores in it. Bateman will get one tomorrow.
First try scorer?
Yeah.
Bateman?
Yeah.
Matt, Romain Navarrete is not playing. There's no chance of an appeal.
This makes me worry who's going to get a winning drop goal. I'm concerned. I mean, there are Warrington players that frighten me. Benny Westwood, he frightens me in the same way that Quasimodo does.
I'm just going to say, just looking at him.
Yeah, he frightens a lot of people.
The Bells.
We should mention this. His 500th club career game. Benny Westwood against tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Whilst you bring him up, that's pretty phenomenal. You've got to credit the
Big
bloke
Benny.
for that. He wears those knocks on his face, but, it's impressive nonetheless.
I know. And
it's incredible for an average player, let's be honest.
He has a good game against us.
He's an average player. 500 games for an average player like that is incredible. You've got to say.
He's not average. He's brilliant. He's really good.
He made the dream team. He made the dream team about 4 times in 6 seasons.
You say you dream about him.
He's past his best now.
He
made the nightmare team about 4 times in 6 seasons.
I'm sure that if I could bring a list up of dream teams, I'm sure I could throw a name at you of somebody that's made the dream team once. And but he's never been that good, has he?
I don't know.
I wrong? Am I just wrong?
I don't like him, Sean. I don't like him. He's one of those players I've never liked. But part of that is because for a spell, when they had that Challenge Cup spell where they won twice in 3 years, that during that sort of period,
it's not a spell.
Really
2 years. You sound like a Warrington fan.
Honestly.
We're the Cup Kings. We won 2 in a row. It wasn't a spell.
Yeah.
A wolf.
In their world, that was a glory run. Let's,
that was an era.
I always like to put myself in the other person's perspective, Sean, and in their perspective, that was the most magical time they've ever experienced in their whole life. So I thought he was pretty good during that time. Credit to him for that.
Yeah.
But is not consistently good for the last 4 years, no.
No, and obviously we'll always remember his slide punch on Blake Green as well. So let's bring that up for his 500th game.
It took Blake Green to win the Harry Sunderland of it, didn't it? So
yeah, absolutely. Matt, have you given me a score prediction, or are you just taking us off on a tangent here?
I'm panicking massively because is this a grudge match? Is this? All the marketing is suggesting this match has got history.
Yeah, absolutely.
They've got no history. That's where we're going. Yeah.
Never mind the Challenge Cup. I've not forgiven the Wolves for what they did to Little Red Riding Hood's granny. That's
okay. Matt, score prediction.
Okay, right. Let's be serious for a moment. We've got a slight cushion over them, yeah? And we all know what dogs like to do to a cushion. So I am panicking a bit.
So am I here right now.
I thought you would be.
Don't want to have to play for him anymore.
I think it's going to be close. I think we're going to win by 8 points.
Okay, thank you for your sensible answer, Matt, and I'll come back to you in just a second for your moment if you've not already had a few tonight. I just want, before I sort of say bye, is to just thank Nate for this jersey that I've got on, Tampa Mayhem jersey that he sent me in, polo shirt that he sent me in the post, and just a shout out to Tampa Mayhem who beat Atlanta Rhinos last weekend, who were the reigning champions, I believe, in America. So thank you very much, Nate, for that, and happy Independence Day for yesterday as well over in America. Mark, thank you so much for joining us again. I hope you enjoy the game on Friday, which I assume that you're going to as always.
Yeah, I'll be there, yeah.
Perfect.
I'm hoping I'm going to enjoy it.
Oh, you will, honestly.
I'm more hopeful than Matt seems to be honest. So I'm feeling positive compared to Matt.
Yeah, he does. I mean, he is a person that when we didn't know any, I can't remember what game it was. Oh, it was the whole game, and we're all down and out. And you sort of rallied us up, and now it's the other way around. What's wrong with you?
I'm scared.
You're scared of the big bad wolf.
I am, yeah.
David,
you
need a soundboard, right, for playing Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Wolf.
Don't. We've had Donald Trump on here. I should have put that on. I've got a wolf somewhere. David, thank you for joining, talking about Tampa Mayhem, for joining the Mayhem on this show tonight. With Matt taking us in every possible direction he wants to. And let's go over to you, Matt,
like
for your
scrum half.
I thought you were going to say something else again then. Matt, over to you for
by the Sky commentary team, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, Matt, over to you. Go on. What have you got for us?
Okay, well, I'll tell you what I've got a birthday treat for you.
For me?
For you. Because some time ago you said to me, it'll be great to have a rap from you. Right?
And so for my 29th birthday yesterday, you've done a rap, have you?
A rap for you, yeah. Yeah,
right.
Especially for you. And it's good. Okay. I think it's got everything that is brilliant about white middle-class rap. And
Nothing then.
Well, you say that now, you might be right. So here it is, right? My attempt at an actual rap. I've never done this before. This is new. Okay? Sponsored, of course, by...
Yeah, All Seasons Gardening.
That's better. That is better. Maryport.
All Seasons Gardening, Maryport. Don't forget the Maryport bit. We're very niche.
Who can forget Maryport? Right, here it goes. My rap for you. I'm a Wigan fan and the Wolves are my foe, so I'm doing this rap just to let you know. You got to be careful because these dogs bite. But if you remember 3 things, it'll be all right. Number 1 thing is to keep some guys fresh. So when Big Ben starts to ring, we can pass that test. Thing number 2 to help you get through is to lock up your granny. Steve Price wants her too. He's that kind of guy. He may have no chin, but don't take him for a fool because he's looking for the win. They've got wolf's yellow eyes and they'll never stop pushing. So don't be surprised if they try and have your cushion. Number 3 thing is the most important yet. If we want to win this game, we've got to free Navarrete. So put your hands in the air. Let me hear you say, we're going to beat the Wolves because we play the Wigan way. Put your hands in the air. You're not doing it. Put your hands in the air. Let me hear you say, we're going to beat the Wolves because you've got to say it too.
We play the Wigan way.
Yeah, I mean,
thank you.
You're right. It has everything that is brilliant.
I don't want Sean to knock the board over. Don't get too excited.
I mean, I'm trying to take it in. To be honest with you, I mean,
it'll take a while.
Yeah, I mean, this
Big
happened.
Ben's not playing anyway. He's another one that's injured.
This happened.
That is a good point.
I mean, you've just started your rap at the time where Nate got in touch saying, the USARL has made it to Wigan. Here's to you, Sean. FYI, Billy Nelson's one of the owners of Tampa Mayhem. So the owner of Tampa Mayhem is watching this show right now, and you've just done a rap in front of him.
Put your hands in the air. Let me hear you.
So
they're going to get the Florida.
Yeah, Billy, if you're still watching and you want to take Matt over to Tampa, I'm sure he will be your halftime entertainment.
Do what?
Halftime entertainment.
Okay, right. I thought you said Tampa. Yeah. That worried me.
To cause Mayhem.
No, you can go to Tampa Mayhem, not Tampa with them. Anyway, let's wrap this. Literally, let's wrap it up. Guys, thank you so much. Enjoy the game on Friday. Thank you for everybody that's watching and all the messages about the little baby that was born last week. And I better go back to parenting duties. So thanks a lot, guys.
Cheers, Sean.
Cheers.
Cheers, Matt.
Cheers.